Hi, I'm your guide. We're Dear Deary Sunnyside, and we design with care and reuse. Today we're headed to Sunnyside, Sunderland's historic neighbourhood, where our site, the former Peter Smith's Antiques Warehouse, is waiting for a thoughtful second life. Before we go to Sunnyside, here's the quick history backdrop. Sunderland's story of coal, glass, shipbuilding. At one point it was the biggest shipbuilding town. After the war, global competition and new technologies reshaped everything. By 1988, the last Weir shipyards had closed. As jobs moved to Duxford and the Nissan corridor, the centre lost weight. Sunnyside, once the city's commercial engine, survives as a conservation area of Georgian and Victorian streets. Today the emphasis is on reuse and culture, with a new glassworks taking shape as the National Glass Centre closes in 2026.
It's sad that Sunderland, which had so much to offer in terms of skills and effort, has become known at various times this century as a centre of high unemployment. Relying as it did upon the heavy industries which had been so dependable in the Victorian era, it became one of the worst hit areas in the Depression era.
Here we are in Sunderland. Let's go. This is the Sunnyside Gardens. The garden is a public space which occasionally hosts food and art markets. Sunnyside has seen many regeneration plans over the years, but what if change comes not from top-down master plans but from the community, by reuse, care and integrity? That's exactly what Dear Deary is exploring. We have Kate Percival, the development manager of Sunnyside's Sunderland project, with us.
At its best, Sunnyside Gardens feels like the neighbourhood's living room, yet on most days, footfall drops, people bypass it, and vacant fronts and safety worries, especially towards the southern edge, hold it back. The plan is to flip that with clearer routes from the station, warmer evening lighting, sociable seating and pop-ups, so that the gardens become the anchor that pulls people across Sunnyside.
Thank you for your insightful explanation, Kate. Now we are going to the rest of Sunnyside to get a better idea of this regeneration project. City Hall stands on the old Vaux Brewery site by Keele Square. Vaux brewed here for generations, closing in '99 and leaving a big hole in the centre. Riverside Sunderland brought the site back, the Beam in 2019, City Hall in 2021, as the council's public hub. It's more than offices, it signals the brewery land's return to city use. And yes, there's the double maxim legend, a pint so strong it puts you to sleep. Pub lore, but it shows how big Vaux was. Over there is Mackey's Corner, Hutchinson's Buildings, the mid-19th century Grade 2 landmark where High Street West bends into Bridge Street. It's named for Robert Mackey, the hatter who traded on the corner. In 1898, a great fire destroyed part of the block, but the corner survived and the rest was rebuilt. After a multi-million-pound restoration, it's back with independence, cafes and flexible workspaces, and the units are now fully let. Sunderland has a thriving creative scene, especially in music. From local bands, poster art, street life, they all speak to how art and culture fuel Sunnyside's identity and regeneration. Cue the music. Now we're at our main site, the former Peter Smith's Antiques Warehouse on Borough Road. It's also part of Sunderland's broader regeneration vision. Let's take you back to where it all began, the history of this building.
They call it the Institute for the Blind. The inscription once read, "From darkness to light, it was a place of hope, work and dignity, meanings we want to bring back."
In 1877, the first workshop for the blind was opened in Villiers Street, Sunderland, where mattresses, chairs, mats, baskets, brushes, bedding and hosiery were made.
Later, the building housed other uses, and for decades, Peter Smith's antiques business. Today, it's back in the regeneration frame. The council has approved works to preserve and prepare it, with plans led by Sunderland Culture to create Glassworks Sunderland, here, as the National Glass Centre moves towards closure in 2026.
This part of our site is currently occupied by Theatre Space North East, an independent theatre company working to break down barriers in culture and creativity.
We're Theatre Space North East, and we see this building as a place full of potential. Our vision is bringing it back to life, creating flexible spaces for performance, rehearsal and community creativity.
Something a tragedy you will avoid. Hey! Well, that's it. I'm doomed. No, wait, Dad.
We're at the National Glass Centre. The National Glass Centre was part of the University of Sunderland and built on a former shipyard by St Peter's. Glassmaking has roots here, going back to 674 AD when Benedict Biscop brought glazers to make windows for the monastery at Wearmouth, often cited as Britain's first stained glass. Inside, the centre shows that heritage in action. Live hot glass demos from a 1,000-degree furnace, flame working, exhibitions and hands-on workshops. Sadly, the university plans to close the building in July 2026 due to unaffordable repair costs, with work underway to keep glassmaking in the city through a new glassworks hub.
I work with heat, sand and breath. We gather from the furnace, shape on the marver, open with jacks and finish on the punty. Then let the glass rest in the annealer. Old craft, new ideas, right here in Sunderland.
As we walk down by the riverside, let's take a look at the port.
Sunderland grew up on the River Wear, first small wooden boats, then iron and steel, until it was widely called the world's biggest shipbuilding town. Through the 1800s, the yards lined both banks. Whole streets worked to the river's rhythm. After the war, global competition and new production methods caused the last Weir shipyards to be closed in 1988. What's left is a city shaped by making, cranes in the skyline, engineering know-how and a culture of graft we're still building on, through reuse, new craft and places like Glassworks.
I worked in the yards on the weir, plates, rivets, welds, day after day. We built ships that left with coal and came back with the world. The yards closed, but the skills didn't. We still make things here, just in new ways.